coaching versus mentoring. For the audience, can you just help us understand what is the difference?
Mentoring comes from a space of experience.
Okay.
So I can probably mentor someone in digital verification, which is my field of expertise in engineering, or in how to get into an engineering college, or in how to get into Teach for India. So naturally, mentoring involves a lot of telling, where from their experience, because they know more, they can give you a lot of inputs and insights and ideas, shortcuts, things like that. Right? Coaching comes from a space of curiosity.
Okay.
Coaching helps you um, look for answers within yourself.
How to identify, first of all, that you are probably stuck and we need to go seek out some help in the form of either a coach or a mentor? Uh, and what could be that thing which is stopping people from reaching out for help?
I feel the most important thing that's usually coming in between is a lack of awareness in general of just how many options are available. Then there's part of an ego where, like, what will somebody external tell me? Or, this is something very, very, very specific, very personal. How can they help me in this? There's an aspect of money sometimes, it's we spend like thousands on one single evening of drinks and dinner, but somehow when it comes to growth and investing in your own personal self, it sounds like too much money. It sounds like is it really worth it?
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Dicots. This is a platform where we go ahead and explore different decision making styles through conversations and stories. Today's topic is going to be coaching versus mentoring. We are joined today by someone who's been an engineer from BITS Pilani, brings in more than 12 years of corporate experience. She's been a Teach for India fellow and a mother to a curious toddler. Very recently, she's also become a certified coach, and she's someone who understands the importance of asking the right questions, not only to others but to ourselves. So, with that, I would like to welcome Pragati Singhal to the Dicots. Hey,
Happy to be here.
I've been really looking forward to having this conversation with you from the very day I started this podcast together with Shubhajit. Uh, Coaching and mentoring has played a very, very important role in my particular life. And I've sought a lot of help from many people who have come in and made an impact into my life. In fact, I remember at some point when I reached out to you as well for coaching, the very first thing that we had a discussion was about why is it important? What is the difference between coaching and mentoring? At what stage shall someone go ahead and seek out, help in the form of coaching and mentoring? And why so many people around us, even if they feel that they are stuck, they feel that they are at the crossroad of personal or professional space, yet they feel that help is too far. They do not take that step of reaching out. So in today's conversation, I am very much looking forward to discuss with you what differentiates between coaching and mentoring. What are some of the challenges which someone must be feeling when they are that they feel that they are stuck in life, but they are unable to come out seeking for help. We would also want to understand what are the different decision making styles of people who either seek coaching or who have provided coaching and mentoring. So that's going to be the topic for today's discussion. But before we go ahead and take a deep dive, let me hear quick thoughts from you about the topic itself.
So this entire topic, this entire space is something that is very, very close to my heart. Um, because I feel that mental health is being called the next epidemic. It's it's so everywhere
Yeah.
today's world, right? And um, seeking help, I said it's just one step away, but so many, I mean, I think it can really, really benefit people. And it connects very deeply with my own life's purpose, which I feel, um, I say that it's helping people find meaning in their lives. Um, and this is something I think it's my entire life's work. So this is the topic for me.
Yeah, I'm really very happy that you are here with us, and I've been listening to the stories whenever we have conversations. For the audience, she's also my college senior, and I've been knowing her for more than 12 years, actually 14 years now. So back in the college days, I remember that I would reach out to you and some other seniors as well for help. And over the period of this time, I've also shared with you some of my corporate challenges, some of my personal challenges, and I've always received help. At that point of time, I found someone in the form of you as a coach or a senior whom I can reach out, share my challenges with. But I don't think that everyone gets similar type of seniors, similar type of people around. So the very first thing that I believe we would want to know as an audience and everyone is that, you know, how to identify, first of all, that you are probably stuck and we need to go seek out some help in the form of either a coach or a mentor. Uh, and what could be that thing which is stopping people from reaching out for help? I'm pretty sure everyone must understand, or from your experience, do you think that people at many other times also don't understand that they need help? Just wanted to pick your thoughts on this.
So I feel the most important thing that's usually coming in between is a lack of awareness in general of just how many options are available. Even other than coaching and mentoring, there's therapy. There's basically a solution to any kind of any place where you are in life. But currently, just in India, we're not aware. One, then there's part of an ego where like what will somebody external tell me, or this is something very, very, very specific, very personal. How can they help me in this? Um, there's an aspect of money. Sometimes it's we spend like thousands on one single evening of drinks and dinner, but somehow when it comes to growth and investing in your own personal self, it sounds like too much money. It sounds like is it really worth it? So there's so many things like that, and sometimes it's also about the very first step.
Yeah.
The huge amount of inertia which is there. Because what you're talking about here is your own growth. You're talking about change.
Yeah.
You're talking about, um, and change is difficult.
It is.
Right? So you're talking about facing your own self. So it's that first step is difficult, but it's definitely worth it.
It is. Yeah, absolutely. And the point that you mentioned, some of these I can myself relate to. I was having a conversation with another young professional recently. Got to know that this person is very outgoing, loves to spend a lot of their time mingling up with people, going for parties, going to cafes. They have a really good lifestyle, and this person was struggling at certain stage with respect to some of the career choices. And I suggested that, this is a good time where you should seek for a coach or a mentor, depending on the needs. And we'll talk what differentiates between a coach and mentor. But I was suggesting that this would be a nice time for you to go ahead and seek that. The first comment this person mentioned to me was, I'm already a high performer. I do not want to be seen as someone who needs help. I want to be seen as someone who is very self independent. And on the top of it, the other point that you mentioned, that sometimes people think that there would be a huge cost associated with it without even knowing what is the cost versus what is going to be the return on investment, right? If someone is willing to spend money, they have the means. Uh, People find it too much difficult to invest that amount in the space of growth. Instead, they'd rather love to go ahead and be in their shallow space, be okay to be in on those crossroads, right? So, thank you so much for bringing those points. Maybe before we get further into differentiating coaching and mentoring, let's hear a little bit about yourself. what are some of your life experiences, or was there a specific moment where you decided that you would want to become a coach?
My journey on in this direction started a really long time ago. Mostly it was like small steps over years which took me to this. Um, but where it started generally was the day I got my first job. So I was given an offer in the place where I interned for 6 months. So first it was happiness, and then the very next day I was struck with the thought of okay, but now I know exactly what it looks like, what the job is, how the people are, what is it that I have to do, and now I was like, okay, what next? And I was really it really struck me, okay, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And I was, I felt like there has to be something more. So from there were a few years into psychology, and that led me to Teach for India fellowship. And there is a part of the journey, they help you figure what really connects with you as a profession. So something like this came out. I call it counseling, then I didn't know the term coaching. And but I didn't have enough information, so I continued until a few years later I met someone who was on this journey herself, and I was at a very bad phase in my life. And then that was actually a day when it instantly clicked, and like, okay, this is what probably I've been looking for. And it has changed everything.
So happy to hear that. In fact, I was about to share with you that you already had some of those traits, right? I felt that if a person needs to open up, uh, they need that space where a other person can also provide you, the whole environment. They come out as someone that I'm here to listen to you first. I believe many a times people also end up not reaching out for help because if they once tried it twice, and if both the time they were shut down by someone, they would always feel that it's not good to be vulnerable. So yeah, I'm just so glad that you picked this stream. Very happy to have you here as well today as a coach. Uh, Maybe let's take now directly the question that we are here for, right? Most important one: coaching versus mentoring. For the audience, can you just help us understand what is the difference? And other than the definition part of it, of course, we would love to hear the definition, but for someone who is receiving either coaching or mentoring, uh, how would at the receiving end they feel the difference? So happy to hear your thoughts on that.
So mentoring comes from a space of experience.
Okay.
So I can probably mentor someone in digital verification, which is my field of expertise in engineering, or in how to get into an engineering college, or in how to get into Teach for India, or how to, again, coaching, or in how to be a new mom. But I cannot mentor a doctor or a lawyer, because that is not related to, I'm not more experienced than them in any way. So naturally, mentoring involves a lot of telling, where from their experience, because they know more, they can give you a lot of inputs and insights and ideas, shortcuts, things like that, right? um, Coaching comes from a space of curiosity.
Okay.
Coaching helps you um, look for answers within yourself. So to give an example here, let's say you want to work on, you want to exercise and you move to a new place. So if you want to know where are the gyms, which is the best gym, what are the exercises somebody should start with,
Yeah.
what are the best workouts? So those are very factual questions. You need somebody more experienced than you in exercising in that area.
Correct.
Right? So that's where a mentor would, like in this, and you know, a fitness person would help. But if you are at a point where you're like, I really want to exercise, but it's just not happening. I don't know why.
Okay.
I really want to. I try my best. I have been trying from 2 years, but it's not happening. That answer is lying within you somewhere.
Yes.
Okay, and that has to come from you. And nobody external can really, I can give you an advice. I can tell you that, hey, why don't you set up an alarm for 6 a.m.? Why don't you join so and so gym, and after you join, it'll start happening. But those are things that may have worked out for me. They might not work out for you.
Correct.
So that's where you need coaching.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for explaining that. So let me reframe what I understood. Mentoring, or if a person is really looking forward to seek a mentor, that should be when you have identified what you need. You go to the people who are experienced in that field and then seek mentoring. How they have probably what are some of the learnings from their own journey. And you're also on the similar path, how you can get benefit from their learnings, right? Some of the advices that they would have. Versus coaching, like you mentioned, could be a space where you have identified your goals, you have identified what are the things that you want to do, but you are still stuck, or maybe you're feeling overwhelmed. And like you mentioned, the answer might be inside me, but I need to uncover that. I need a coach to speak to, uh, and in through that conversations, I need to uncover that. But I would want to spend some more time over in this very thing, right? You mentioned that the answer lies within. So from mentoring, it is very clear that they would share their own experiences, what has helped them. They might help me in connecting with other similar like-minded people from the same field. I can go ahead and grow. With respect to coaching, is the answer not coming from the coach? Is that the thing?
No. So that is the second basic difference between the two. That coaching, in the case of coaching, the coach offers questions.
Okay.
Um, but then I hear no. So okay, fine. So just give me the list of questions. Um, but it's more about um, in a very trusting space,
Mhm.
in a very non-judgmental, curious person who's genuinely just interested in finding out more about you.
Yeah.
Um, so when the coach in this kind of an environment offers some questions to help you look with them and understand, it's like they hold a mirror to you, and all of the regular confusions and things of the conscious mind, right? As they
Confusion as well.
the delusions, right? As they slowly settle down in this kind of a space, then the answer becomes clearer to you.
Yeah.
So, continuing with the example that we talked about, right? So, for example, somebody's like, I'm stuck and I want to exercise. Your answer might be that, you would discover that I am actually a people person.
Mhm.
I work out best with other people.
Yes.
Um, Now, the moment after all of those exploration, you reach that point, you don't need to me to tell you that, hey, why don't you go and play sports with somebody. You're really smart, and coaching actually works on that principle, that people are very smart, people are very capable. They are just stuck on some blind spots.
Ah, I like that. I like the way you have put in stuck in blind spots. That's so true, right? Like I can also think about this whole podcast as well. Let's just say I have been thinking about it for more than 5 years. At certain stage, I've realized that I love connecting with people. I want to go ahead, meet them. It's the extrovert side of me. And I want to learn more about their decision making style. But it took me 5 years to take that step unless I actually came and met Shubhraji. So I shared with him that this is an idea, and he asked me all the right questions, uncovering as to, I had all the resources, I had the will. I was probably stuck because I never had a team to start it. I was going ahead and trying to do it by myself, and that's where my motivation was not coming. Very happy to get coached by Shubhajit at that point of time. And it brought us to here where me and him, we started this podcast. And he not only, helped me to uncover what was the blockage or what was the blind spot, but he also once identified was there to listen to me further, ask me the right questions, which led me to a space where today I'm doing it versus that certain point where I was just stuck thinking about it. So blind spot, I think, is a point to remember. That's so cool. I think going forward, if I am going and meeting to some of my friends or if the people who are listening to this podcast, it would be nice to identify their own blind spots. So, can you share some of the thoughts or some of the initial reflections which an individual must go through so that they can at least be aware that, oh, I am having a blind spot here? Any advice for them?
I think there it is usually more about, I feel
Okay.
um it's more about going to the point of what I said, right? Inertia. Um Most of the times, in my own case, when I take a topic for getting coached, it usually starts with, I don't know what new can come out on this. I think I've already thought this through. You feel stuck. You know that it's a problem statement, but you somehow don't believe that something more is there in this space. Um, so I think the answer to your question, it you know when you are stuck. What you need to believe in is that a solution is possible and it is out there. And it's worth trying.
Got it. In fact, as you were speaking this, one of the thought that came to my mind, in fact, that is the very reason why I asked this question was that how to be aware. I want to bring in friends and families now. Many of the times we feel that if we go and speak to our friends and family, that the job that a coach would is right to do, we expect that from our family and friends, right? That why don't you help me see the things better? I feel stuck. Can you just help me out? So it's a tricky question, but I want to check with you. You think that friends and family could be the coach?
Definitely. Definitely. Um, so we call that, it's like wearing a coaching hat,
Okay.
right? You can wear the coaching hat for your junior in the office at times, or for your wife, or for your kid. There are times when we all do it. Um, we all do it in different forms in different ways. The difference, I would say, is it's just that coaches are more specifically trained to be in that space. They are that's basically our entire training is around listening and supporting, being non-judgmental, ensuring that all of those biases are as far as possible removed.
Correct.
Which sometimes, in case of your near ones, um, sometimes they are able to see. Sometimes they are also part of the same system, so they might not be able to see the blind spots.
They
As
might
we
be the
discussed.
problems themselves. So yeah, no, I think thank you so much for sharing that, and that's where the point was led to. That we end up reaching out to our friends and family for the coaching part because of these biases. Many times they will just either shut us down or they would not listen without judgment. And from your explanation, now I better understand that why it is so much more important to reach out to a professional coach who has been in that space and has been trained, to uncover the things that have been holding back. Well, thank you so much for sharing it. Uh, Now let's talk a little bit about decision making styles. So you have worn all of these different hats we have spoken at the beginning. I'm very curious to know over these changes, right? Starting from an engineer, then when you took the decision of becoming a Teach for India fellow, then you are also a mother now, and right now becoming a coach. Would be curious to know how your decision making style has evolved, and with the very recent one, now that you are a professional coach, how does that impact or influence your day to day decision making?
Hmm. Short answer, I think I'm becoming more deliberate in my choices with time. Um, as you took the progression, right? So engineering was barely a choice. I'm Indian. You start with engineering, then you figure out what to do.
Correct.
So there it was almost automatic. I come from a family of engineers. Um, Teach for India was a choice. Um, Again, deliberate. But if you had asked me at that point, why do you want to be a fellow? I probably wouldn't have been, very, very good in answering that. It was visceral. It was some emotions, and I had it sorted, but not very well. I couldn't reason it that way. And now, um, like I am at a space where I am able to provide like the logical and the emotion, the visceral answer, right? Um, Coming to how coaching has changed my decision making, I think it might at the cost of sounding, extra. It has completely changed my decision making style. In fact, that's one of the biggest changes that I've seen. So, as I had mentioned, when I came across this, I was at a very bad space in my life. I was postpartum. My kid was few months. So all those hormones were, juggling around in my body. I was not so sure about my job, so very underconfident. And then I came across this, and we started. My first decision was, should I take this up at this time? And there are so many things already to handle or not. And thankfully, with that's a lot of support from amazing people, I did. Um, and what happened is, and as a part of my training as a coach, we get coached a lot ourselves. So, bit by bit, session by session, I worked on my indecision, on my self confidence, worked out a few strategies. Some worked, some didn't work, went back. And, now I think that um, it's, at least with respect to decision making, I feel I'm a completely different person. Um, so what it does is, for one thing, it helps you see the bigger picture, right? And because usually we as a person we are very focused on, sorry, we as people are very focused on, our weaknesses.
Yes.
And then you just at that moment you're like, I'm indecisive, or I'm underconfident, and then you don't see the rest of you, the rest of very beautiful person which is there. So one, coaching helps you slowly at least create strategies, or understand where did that indecision come from, where is it, how do you slowly start resolving that. And on top of all of this, it helps you see that, hey, there's the rest of you also, please focus there.
Yes.
So yeah, so I think it's completely different now.
Wow, that's amazing to hear because I think for me, I'm still very much looking forward every time I make the decision. I'm about, what is the next thing that I have to do? Oh, you know what? I have to take care of the other thing which I spoke about last day. But the bigger picture, it really gets missed out. In fact, being an extrovert, I can share with you, it's also very difficult at times to set the boundaries. And the point that you mentioned, as a whole, me as an individual too, I need to understand at times that there is more than what I'm seeing. We forget that, right? We have this tendency of forgetting all the things, many times taking things for granted. So, very happy to hear that is influencing your decision making style and that too such positively. I'm actually now curious for one more thing. You have been taking coaching sessions for so long, you have been speaking to so many people. So, if you'll have to share with audience and with me any sort of reflection or fulfillment that you must have felt when you were able to, uh, I don't even know what happens at the end of the coaching. Do you see that the person becomes successful, or what is the end of a coaching, that the person has uncovered the truths about themselves? So yeah, first, probably happy to hear that what usually is the end goal of coaching, and what what was the feeling that you had, when you were able to take a person to that final, uh, the final destination at the end of
Okay. So that's actually another thing very specific about coaching is it starts with the end goal. You start every single session with what is the goal, where would you be at the end of that session, and even if it's a longer term, if it's like a 5 session assignment, you decide where would you want to be at the end of that. So it's very goal oriented, instead of a general, because there's a view that it's a very feel good kind of a thing. So whether it makes you feel good or not, but the point is it's very goal oriented. Um, and then at the end, we check whether we have reached that goal or not. And your other question is, how did I feel after helping someone reach that goal? So, one other interesting thing about coaching there is that sometimes, even though you may reach that goal, but those questions don't stop impacting you at the end of the session.
Okay.
Those questions sometimes stay with you a day or two or three later, and when you are probably having coffee 3 days later, an answer comes to you, and like, oh yeah. Or sometimes, the coachee doesn't even share with the coach, and the coach is okay. Those answers are for you. So sometimes they'll just get some answer themselves, and they might not even share it with the coach. Um, Having said that, how do I feel um after helping someone have an insight? I think it's a very fulfilling, a very hopeful journey. The hope about that it stays with them, that it actually helps them make a change, make a difference, right? So So yeah, it's fulfilling on one hand, but still hopeful that it works out in the long term. Yeah.
Fantastic. No, super cool about that. Uh, and we have spoken now so much about coaching, and specifically now that we have also heard a little bit end goal, right? How it is for an individual, and probably it is a continuous journey. Maybe we shed some light on the mentoring side as well. Is it okay to understand that in mentoring you always have some goals in mind, and that could be your finish line? And when we seek out the mentoring, we can specifically tell them that, I want to achieve XYZ. Can you help me achieve that? And once that is achieved, probably the mentorship journey can also either change. I mean, you can seek out a different mentor, or with the same mentor, you can seek out a different goal. But is it true that in mentorship, there would be a clear goal defined?
I think in both the cases you have a clear goal defined.
Okay.
Um, and in general, I feel it's a goal always helps you in finding out the direction in which you're moving, right? But having said that, I would say that don't let the absence of clarity in a goal don't let it stop you from actually seeking out, even if you are unclear, and even if your thought is I want to be better at this.
Yeah.
I don't know what better means, but I want to be better at this. Still, please go ahead and find out um, somebody who can help you. Actually, to be specific, yes, a coach would be
Better
more
place.
would be better placed. At times, even that happens. A coach helps you figure out what the goal should be, and then
You
direct
skip
you
it.
towards a mentor.
Oh, nice.
Because, as I said, right, a coach does not come from a space of experience. So, let's say if a doctor comes to me and they are feeling stuck about something, I cannot, in any capacity, help them there. But I can help them ask the right questions, which they can then go and check with their mentor.
Ah, nice. It's actually, I mean, it's connecting the dots, right? So if someone is unclear about some of the things, or they feel that some of their own thoughts are stuck, a coach can better help them have that discussion, ask the right questions, which will allow them to uncover those blind spots. And then once you've identified what you really are seeking, if you are clear about that, and if it is something which is related to an expertise field, then you can go ahead and seek out mentoring. Yeah, wow. I think that gives us a very good space, towards concluding our discussion as well. So, but before we go ahead and we'll be concluding, I would be curious to know if someone like me or anyone from the audience is looking forward to find help, to find a coach, find a mentor, where do they typically find this community? How do they go about it?
Mentors usually, as I said, seniors within your field, or more experts within your field. So you would have to check within the field, within your own space. Coaches, a bit more indirect, but I mean, welcome to talk to me. But I would say you can start with checking around on the internet. There are a lot of coaches there, but The issue there is it's a bit of an unregulated industry. There are um, you have to treat a little with care there. But at least try, find out, talk to people around you. Somebody may have.
I think that would be a good starting point. But yeah, this particular podcast, we will also go ahead and tag Riti so that you can reach out to her on LinkedIn. But very happy to have you here. It was good to learn the differences about coaching and mentoring. When can a person seek help? What are some of the challenges that they usually feel? And I'm hopeful that whoever is listening to the podcast, they would find the strength to reach out if they are feeling stuck at any point of time. But happy to hear any concluding remarks that you would want to share with the audience.
I think I would just want to say the most important thing is please talk, please ask. No matter how small or big you think it is, just ask. At least start by asking people around you, your friends, your family, share with someone. If you reach a coach or a mentor, awesome, but at least ask.
Sure. With that thought, thank you so much.